Philip Friday Live. This is where I answer your burning questions to help you out on your fitness and nutrition journey to get that physique you want, whether it's through training, nutrition, mindset, anything else that's in your way. That is what we do here. Anything goes. I actually love challenging questions because it gets me to really think about the answer and do some research if I don't have it. And we're going to go do that today. So today's going to be a short one. We have one question to answer. Before I do, as usual, I like to mention some quick announcements. First of all, welcome to some of our newest members. Robert just posted this morning, put his photo up, said hello. I love that. And we're here to help you, Robert. Anyone who joins, the advice I always give is check out the featured section at the top, because I always keep a few select things pinned there. It's not like 20 posts. It's like 5. And you'll find the most important, most recent things there. Also, if you just joined, I want you to go to the guides at the top and then go to start here and watch these 2 videos, very short videos. The third post is just about the podcast. If you don't already follow the Wits and Weights podcast, definitely follow it. You're going to learn a ton there. That's where I post most of my very detailed long form content. But the first 2 are going to give you information on how to post questions in the group and how to use this very Ask Philip weekly live. Some weeks we get 10, 15 questions. Some weeks we get 1 or 2. And so you always get your question answered if you ask it. And then the next section in the guides is the free live training, which we're always doing. Every few weeks, I'll do a training and add it here. The most recent ones are actually pretty popular because they're related to questions I get all the time. So the one about lifting weights is about the principles of strength training from the very beginning to get you started on the right foot. And the second one is about fat loss plateaus. And then the third one is about body recomposition. And all of these are pretty relevant to what a lot of us are going through. So definitely check those out. The only other announcements I have in the featured section are the last training that I did that I just mentioned on body recomp is up there. Just so folks know, we did the Zoom training and I accidentally kept it in the grid format. So the resolution was like, it had all the boxes. So I actually had to edit it to crop down to the box with me talking in it. And so the resolution is really low. And so I attached the final whiteboard. So at least you have the information to kind of reference as you listen and watch to the video. The other announcement on here is another recent post is a free metabolic assessment or metabolism assessment that I created and added to my website. You can calculate your metabolic flexibility. You answer some short questions, submit it, takes like 5 minutes or less. It comes to me. I run it through a analysis, and then I send you back a report. And that's a really great way to just gauge where are you in terms of your energy flux, your metabolism, right? Your ability to expend energy and make fat loss easier. Many of us have opportunities for things to fix, and this helps you identify what those are at kind of a high level. And then the next step after that could be to develop your strategy on, okay, how do we get it to the highest level possible? So I think that's all I have for announcements. I'm going to unpin last week's Ask Philip, and then I'm going to dive into today's. And if we, again, just very high level, the rules are 1 question per member, but be as specific as you can, because the more specific, the more context you can provide, the better answer you're going to get. Don't assume I know everything or I remember everything. Now, I have had people who either past clients, current clients, or very active folks in the group who've asked multiple questions. And I do get to know you, of course. And so I get when sometimes you ask another question and aren't necessarily providing all those details. But that's because I already have the context. So if you're newer to the group and you post a question, be as specific as you can. And it could be a very long post if you have to. I don't mind. Like, tell me your calories and macros, what your goal is, how long you've been training, how you're training, what's really holding you back? Why can't you be consistent? What are you going after? What's your goal? All those things. And what you like, what you don't like, the whole thing, so that I can get you the best answer possible. Kind of like having your own coach through this group help you out. Okay. And then always, if you're stuck on where to start, go to the guide section and watch these start here videos. And then as always, just ask. You could also check out my YouTube if you like video format for a lot of the podcasts, for example, and then the audio podcast as well. Always a great resource. And I'm here to support you. So the question today, is from Dustin Lambert. And he said, my daily routine has changed since moving. My workouts are at 5:30 a.m., where previously it was 2 p.m. I'm training in a fasted state now, and I'm running out of gas toward the middle of my workouts. What solutions do you use and recommend to alleviate this? All right. Super common situation for a lot of people, either intentionally or not. And just to rehash, like my personal story with this is, for years I trained fasted. I would take, early on it was BCAAs, then it was EAAs, right? Essential amino acids, for my pre-workout, or I would use caffeine or something like that. And I wouldn't eat anything at all. I'd train fasted. And then I found, as I started to get some form of nutrition in my body, and I'm gonna get into details, it always helped. It helped tremendously for me. And I find with most people and clients, 95% of the time or more, maybe 99% of the time, they're going to perform better not training fasted. There's always the caveat of the small percentage of people who, for whatever reason, respond better, or it works better with their lifestyle. Now, you're talking about working out at 5:30. So I'm assuming you're either waking up just before that, throwing on your clothes, getting into your home gym, or maybe you have a little more time than that. So I'm going to go through a few different options for you. The first question I have is this an intentional thing you're doing, or is it just a matter of circumstance? Because if it is intentional, then I have a few pieces of advice. And if it's just by accident, I'm going to suggest you don't train fasted, and I'm going to give you some advice on how to do that within your lifestyle. So training fasted, if you're absolutely going to do it, and I kind of touched on this in the last Ask Philip when I talked about, I think it was Luke asked the question about the OMAD diet and fasting and all that. First, your body has to adjust. So if you just started and it's like less than a week in, like anything else, just like when you start lifting, you get sore the first week and then it starts to go away. Same thing here. It's kind of like progressive overload of fasted training. The first week is going to be a little bit rough. Your body has to get used to it, feel it out. And then you might find that you just start to get used to it. The same thing happens, by the way, there's multiple variables going on, because going from 2 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. in and of itself, even if you had everything else the same and you still ate before your workout, is, we see that the evidence says that working out early in the morning is a little bit less, you perform a little bit worse than working out in the afternoon. But that if you stick with it, your body adapts and it pretty much is the same, right? But I've seen people switch back and forth. And if you go from one to the other, you will find a boost in the afternoon, or you'll find a little bit of a regression in the morning, but then you adapt and then you just go from there. So that's one thing just to keep in mind. It may have nothing to do with the food. The second thing is you can take advantage of dinner the night before. Make it as late as possible, where it doesn't impact your sleep, your digestion during sleep, and shift a lot of your carbs toward dinner, right? And that way you kind of have the glycogen, the tank is full, somewhat full, when you go into your workout the next day, and you're still doing it fasted, but you've done your best, to fuel yourself before. So if you're doing a form of carb cycling, for example, you would shift your carbs to the day before you train rather than the day you do train. And I'm not recommending carb cycling necessarily. Depends on you. Most of my clients just distribute their calories evenly. It works for most people, but you could do it that way. Another thing, if you're training fasted, you can still use EAAs, essential amino acids. Again, I'm not a huge fan of them because I'd rather you just have protein, and you still want to get all your protein from food, protein shakes, etc. Get your full amount, but then you can also do EAAs as part of a pre-workout, for at least for the muscle protein synthesis, not necessarily for the energy. Okay. And ensure that you're well hydrated. So again, hydration has an even bigger impact before and during your workout when you're fasted. So that's, if you insist on training fasted and that's for you for whatever reason, great. I'm going to recommend you, because you were training in the afternoon and you hadn't been training fast in the past, like even if you didn't do a pre-workout, you probably had lunch like around 11, 12, 1. That was your pre-workout and you were fully fueled. I'm going to recommend getting up at least a half hour before you work out. And that's the minimum. I would say a half hour, which is not too much, but if it interrupts your sleep, this is going to be a problem, and we'll go to option B. So this is option A. Plan A is get up half an hour before you work out and have ready a banana and a whey protein shake. Those are like the golden goose to fast digesting pre-workout, minimum impact on your stomach on digestion. You know, you won't feel like you have a full stomach when you're working out, and you'll have carbs and protein. You're good to go. And then the rest of the day kind of works out just fine. That's one option. The second option, if you cannot wake up too early, if you're just going to wake up, throw your clothes on, and start working out in 5 minutes, is to use intra-workout carbs, right? You could have protein as well, but basically this would look like a liquid shake of some kind with highly branched cyclic dextrin, which is as rapidly digesting type of carb as you can get, very easy on the stomach, and it'll give you that energy that you're missing out on right now. And you could just sip it. Like I would drink like half of it as you start and then sip it for the rest of your workout. So you could have like a scoop of that, something like that, which I think is, don't even quote the numbers, maybe 50 to 100 grams of carbs, something like that. And you could also add whey protein to that. But if you have too much in there, you know, that might bother your stomach, right? Because you're kind of trying to chug it down as you work out. So again, that's the balance when you wake up right before you work out. But an intra-workout carb is going to be perfect to keep your energy levels up. And then again, also the hydration. And did I mention caffeine? I don't know if I mentioned caffeine. Caffeine's another big one. Even if you're going to train fasted or not, caffeine is a great natural stimulant. Some people get too jittery or drink too much caffeine, but a lot of people find it's an excellent natural performance booster before you work out. So a lot of pre-workouts have it, or you can just have some black coffee, and whether you're doing it fasted or not, that could give you that sense of energy and that boost you need, even if you are doing it fasted. So I think I covered everything, and yeah, I think that's it, man. So let me know if I missed anything in the comments, and I'll be happy to follow up, but hopefully that's a good overview for everyone. And that's it for Ask Philip this week. I'm not doing one next week because I'll be on vacation. My folks are visiting. We're going on a road trip out to Pennsylvania. We're actually going to check out Amish country out there. Never done that. My two girls are going to love it because we're going to go on like a buggy ride and, you know, get some homemade stuff, you know, either food or things that they build. I don't know. We're going to check out Gettysburg. So if you're a history buff, that's pretty cool. I've never been there. Definitely looking forward to a little education while I'm out there and refresher of that great battle of the Civil War where, you know, associated with the big Lincoln address, the Gettysburg Address. And yeah, so we're not doing an Ask Philip next week is my point. And I think Alan might post it. No, I think Alan's going to wait till next week to post it for the following week so that it doesn't just sit there for 2 weeks. In the meantime, take advantage of this group and post questions right in the group. People will answer. I will answer. You know, even if I'm on vacation, I'm going to be checking here and there, and I'll throw in an answer if I see someone needs help. So let me close that. So yeah, take advantage of it, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your summer. You know, we're getting close to fall here. This is a great time to really commit to your goals as the weather changes and the seasons change. Whatever your goal is, please reach out if you need any help at all whatsoever. That is what we're here for. And I'm sure I have a training, a video, a guide, or my personal, you know, a smile and a response to get you to help you on your way. Thank you again for another Ask Philip and giving me your time, and we will talk soon.